The photo arrived at 11:47 p.m. while I was locking up my auto detailing shop. My wife Jessica hugging some muscle-bound pretty boy at Zenith Bar, her manicured fingers wrapped around his bicep like she owned it. The caption made my stomach drop. Upgraded. I stared at my phone screen, grease still under my fingernails from working on Mrs. Patterson's Buick. 12 years of marriage, and this is how I find out? Not even the courtesy of a face-to-face conversation, just a photo sent like she was showing off a new purse. My name's Danny Walsh. I'm 37, own Walsh's Auto Detailing on the east side of town. Nothing fancy, but honest work. Jessica always said I lacked ambition, that I was content being small-time. Guess she found herself someone bigger. I didn't reply to her text. Instead, I forwarded the photo to 3 people: her parents, her business partner Mara, and the wedding venue manager. We were supposed to renew our vows in 2 weeks. Seemed like poor timing for an upgrade. My phone exploded within minutes. "Danny, what the hell is this?" Jessica's mother shrieked when I answered. "Is this some kind of joke?" "Ask your daughter, Mrs. Brennan. Apparently, she's been beta testing a new model." "Don't you dare get smart with me, young man. Jessica would never—" I hung up. The wedding venue called next. "Mr. Walsh, we've received some disturbing images. Given the circumstances, we'll need to cancel your reservation. Our deposit policy clearly states, keep the deposit. Consider it a tip for dodging a bullet." By midnight, my phone had 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. Jessica's panicked voice filled my voicemail. "Danny, it's not what it looks like. He's just a friend from the gym. You're being ridiculous." I walked to our bathroom, picked up both our wedding rings from the dish by the sink, and dropped them in the toilet. The photo I took came out perfect. 2 gold bands floating like tiny life preservers in porcelain water. I posted it to her Instagram story with the caption, "Downgrade complete." Then I turned off my phone and went to sleep. The next morning, Jessica burst through my shop door like a hurricane in designer heels. "You psychotic bastard! Do you have any idea what you've done?" I looked up from buffing a Mercedes hood. "Good morning to you too, sweetheart. Coffee's fresh if you want some." "My parents are furious. The venue blacklisted us. Mara's asking a million questions I can't answer." "Sounds like you've got some explaining to do." I kept working, not looking at her. "Might want to start with who Mr. Universe is." "His name is Chad Morrison. He's my trainer." "Trainer?" I laughed. "What's he training you for? The cheating Olympics?" Jessica's face flushed. "It was one drink, Danny. One innocent drink with a friend." I pulled out my phone, scrolled through screenshots my buddy Eddie had sent me. "Innocent? You've been soft-launching this guy on social media for 3 months. Here's you two at the farmer's market. Here's him at your company barbecue. Here's you wearing his gym shirt and a selfie." Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. "You've been spying on me? I've been married to you. There's a difference." I set down my cloth and faced her. 12 years, Jess. 12 years I worked my ass off while you climbed the real estate ladder. 12 years I listened to you complain about my lack of ambition. 12 years I pretended not to notice you looking at other guys like I was expired milk. That's not fair. Fair? My voice rose. You know what's not fair? Finding out my wife's been shopping for a replacement through a text message? You know what's really not fair? Having to explain to my customers why my wife's having a meltdown in my shop. Jessica looked around, suddenly aware that my crew had stopped working to watch our domestic drama unfold. "We can work this out," she said, lowering her voice. "It was a mistake. A moment of weakness." I pulled out my phone again and hit play on a voice recording. Her voice filled the shop. "Mom, it was just a joke. He's so insecure. I can't help it if other men find me attractive. Maybe if Danny had more ambition, more drive, I wouldn't need to look elsewhere for inspiration." The color drained from her face. "You recorded my phone call?" "Pocket dial," I lied smoothly. Amazing what people say when they think nobody's listening. Jessica grabbed for my phone, but I held it away. "Delete that right now. Or what? You'll upgrade to someone who respects your privacy?" I pocketed the phone. Here's what's going to happen, Jess. You're going to walk out of my shop. You're going to go home to our house, which is in my name, by the way, and pack your things. You're going to move in with your trainer or your parents or whoever will have you, and you're going to do it quietly. And if I don't? I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Then I'll make sure everyone in town knows exactly what kind of woman you really are. Your clients, your coworkers, your book club, your yoga class, everyone. She stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. I never knew you could be so cruel. Funny thing about upgrades, Jess. Sometimes they reveal features you didn't know were there. She left without another word, her heels clicking angrily on the concrete floor. Eddie appeared at my elbow. Damn, brother. Remind me never to cross you. This is just the beginning, I said, watching her BMW disappear down the street. Time to show Mr. Upgraded what happens when you mess with someone else's wife. I found Chad Morrison at his gym that evening. Elite Fitness was one of those places where people paid $200 a month to lift weights and take selfies, all chrome and mirrors and protein shake bars. Chad was everything I wasn't, 6'3", perfectly sculpted, with the kind of tan that comes from a bottle and the kind of smile that comes from never facing real consequences. He was showing some college girl how to use the lat pull-down machine, his hands lingering on her shoulders longer than necessary. Chad Morrison? I called out. He turned, flashing those perfect teeth. That's me, bro. You looking to get started on a fitness journey? Something like that. I walked closer, noting how his smile faltered as he took in my work clothes and calloused hands. I'm Danny Walsh, Jessica's husband. The blood drained from his face, but he tried to play it cool. Oh, hey man, Jessica's mentioned you. I bet she has. All good things, I hope? He glanced around nervously. The college girl had moved away, sensing tension. Listen, if this is about last night... Last night? I was thinking more about the last 3 months. Chad's jaw tightened. I don't know what you think you know. I know you've been training my wife in more than just fitness. I know you've been all over her social media. I know she's been wearing your clothes and eating at your favorite restaurants. I stepped closer. What I don't know is whether you're stupid or just don't give a damn about other people's marriages. Look, man, Jessica told me you guys were separated. She said you were just roommates at this point. And you believed her? He shrugged. She's a grown woman. She can make her own choices. You're right about that, and I can make mine too. I walked past him toward the exit, then stopped. Oh, and Chad? You might want to check on your car. I'd spent 20 minutes in the parking lot before coming inside. Sugar in the gas tank, super glue on the wipers, and about 2 pounds of raw shrimp stuffed into the air vents. The note I'd left on his windshield was simple. Enjoy your upgrade. Smells like betrayal. Chad rushed outside, and I followed at a distance. His anguished howl when he saw his pristine BMW was music to my ears. You son of a bitch! He charged at me, but I sidestepped easily. Military training doesn't fade, even after 15 years. Problem? I asked innocently. You destroyed my car. I improved it, added some character. Thought you'd appreciate the upgrade. He swung at me, but I caught his wrist and twisted. Not hard enough to break anything, but hard enough to make him drop to one knee. Here's the thing about upgrades, Chad, I said quietly, so only he could hear. Sometimes they come with bugs. Sometimes they crash the whole system. And sometimes, I twisted a little harder, they leave you worse off than when you started. Let go of me. I'm going to let you go, and you're going to stay away from my wife. You're going to block her number, delete her from social media, and pretend she doesn't exist. Because if I see you within 50 feet of her again, I'll upgrade your smile with a set of pliers. We clear? He nodded frantically. I released his wrist and he scrambled backward. Pleasure meeting you, Chad. Give my regards to your insurance company. As I walked away, I could hear him frantically calling someone, probably a tow truck. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. If you think Chad's your only problem, you're more naive than I thought. M. M for Mara, Jessica's business partner. Interesting. Seemed like this upgrade was more complicated than I'd realized. The next morning brought clarity in the form of Chad's ex-girlfriend, a petite brunette named Amy, who showed up at my shop with a story that made everything click into place. "I saw what you did to Chad's car," she said, trying not to smile. "He deserved it. But you should know, he's not the mastermind here." "What do you mean?" "Mara Chen, Jessica's partner? She's been pulling the strings. She set Jessica up with Chad, encouraged the whole thing. She's the one who told Jessica you were holding her back, that she deserved better." I leaned against my workbench. "Why would Mara want to break up my marriage?" Amy shifted uncomfortably. "Because you fired her 3 years ago from this shop. She was stealing parts, selling them online. She's been planning this revenge ever since." The pieces fell into place. Mara had wormed her way into Jessica's life, became her business partner, her confidant. She'd been poisoning my marriage from the inside. "There's more," Amy continued. "Mara and Jessica have been skimming money from client accounts. Nothing huge, just enough to fund their lifestyle upgrades. Designer clothes, expensive dinners, weekend trips. Can you prove it?" She handed me a flash drive. "Chad's not just a pretty face. He's been recording everything, thinking he might need insurance someday. There's audio of Mara admitting she set up the whole affair. Video of her and Jessica counting cash they skimmed from a house sale." I stared at the drive. "Why are you giving me this?" "Because Mara destroyed my relationship too. She convinced Chad I wasn't good enough for him, that he needed someone more sophisticated. She's a manipulator, Mr. Walsh. She ruins people for sport." That evening, I sat in Eddie's bar, planning my next move. The flash drive contained hours of material. Mara coaching Jessica on how to emotionally distance herself from me. Jessica complaining about my small-time mentality. Both women laughing about how easy it was to fool their clients. "You could go to the police," Eddie suggested. "Could, but that would be too easy. They want to play games? Let's play games." The Brennan Family Charity Gala was 3 days away. High society's biggest event of the year, held at the Riverside Country Club. Jessica and Mara would be there, schmoozing with potential clients, pretending to be respectable businesswomen. Time for a software update. I spent the next 2 days preparing. The country club's AV system was older than my marriage, easy to hack if you knew the right people. My buddy Tony from the Army ran a tech company now. He owed me a favor from when I detailed his entire fleet for free. "You sure about this, Danny?" Tony asked as he handed me the modified laptop. "This is going to cause a hell of a scene." That's the point. The gala was in full swing when I arrived. I'd cleaned up nice, borrowed a tux from Eddie, got a haircut, even splurged on a professional shave. Jessica was across the room in a red dress that probably cost more than most people's rent, laughing with a group of potential clients. Mara stood beside her in black, playing the sophisticated business partner. Neither of them saw me slip into the AV booth. The slideshow started during the silent auction. Instead of charity photos, the screens filled with images from the flash drive. Jessica and Chad at various restaurants and hotels, Mara counting cash, text message screenshots of them mocking their clients. The room fell silent except for the audio playing through the speakers. Mara's voice, crystal clear. "The beauty of it is, Jessica's too stupid to realize I'm using her to get back at her husband. She thinks this is all her idea, her rebellion. When really, I'm just destroying his life one manipulation at a time." Jessica's scream cut through the silence. "Turn it off! Turn it off!" But the show continued. More photos, more audio. Jessica admitting she'd never loved me, just married me because she thought I had potential. Mara explaining how easy it was to skim money from elderly clients who wouldn't notice small discrepancies. The crowd was in chaos. People were shouting, taking photos with their phones, demanding answers. Jessica's parents looked mortified. Her clients looked betrayed. I slipped out during the confusion, but not before uploading everything to social media. By morning, "An upgrade denied" was trending locally. Jessica's real estate license was under review. Mara's business accounts were frozen pending investigation. But I wasn't done yet. The anonymous tip came the next day. Mara had been playing an even deeper game. She'd been manipulating Chad too, promising him modeling contracts and social media sponsorships that didn't exist. She'd orchestrated the entire affair not just to hurt me, but to destroy Jessica's life as well. Mara Chen wasn't just vindictive. She was a sociopath. Time for the final upgrade. The Riverside wedding venue sat empty on Thursday afternoon, a monument to canceled dreams and broken promises. I'd lured all three of them here with different messages. Jessica thought we were meeting to work things out, Chad thought we were going to settle this like men, and Mara thought I had dirt on both of them that I was willing to trade. They arrived within minutes of each other, their faces showing various degrees of anger, fear, and confusion when they realized they'd all been summoned. "What the hell is this?" Jessica demanded. "Family reunion," I said, stepping out from behind a pillar. I'd set up speakers throughout the venue, hidden cameras, and prepared my final presentation. "Danny, we need to talk," Mara said smoothly. "There's been a misunderstanding." "Has there? Let's clear it up then." I pressed play on my laptop. Mara's voice filled the empty venue. "The plan is perfect. Jessica destroys her marriage chasing after Chad, Chad gets bored and dumps her, and Danny loses everything. My only regret is that it's taking so long." Jessica turned on Mara. "What is she talking about?" "More importantly," I continued, "let's hear what you really think of your upgrade, Jess." Another recording played. Jessica's voice, drunk and bitter. "Chad's gorgeous, but God, he's dumb as a rock. I mean, the sex is incredible, but I can't have a real conversation with him. At least Danny had a brain, even if he never used it for anything ambitious." Chad's face darkened. "You said I was the love of your life." "And Mara," I added. "Let's not forget your professional opinion of your business partner." A third recording, Mara laughing. "Jessica's the perfect mark. Vain, insecure, desperate for validation. She'll do anything I suggest if I frame it as empowerment. She actually thinks sleeping with that muscle-bound idiot is her idea of taking control of her life." The three of them stood in a triangle of mutual betrayal, each realizing how thoroughly they'd been used. "You're all pathetic," I said. "Mara, you spent 3 years planning elaborate revenge because I fired you for being a thief. Jessica, you threw away 12 years of marriage for a guy who can't spell commitment. And Chad, you destroyed a family for a woman who thinks you're a pretty decoration." Chad lunged at me first, but I was ready. Military training kicked in. I sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and used his momentum to send him crashing into a stack of chairs. "Stay down," I warned. "This ends when I say it ends." Jessica was crying now, her perfect makeup running. "Danny, please, we can fix this." "Fix this?" I laughed. "You want to fix this? Here's your chance." I pulled out my phone and started recording. "I want each of you to apologize. To me, to each other, to everyone you've hurt. I want you to admit what you did and why you did it. Do that, and maybe I'll consider not pressing charges for the embezzlement." "We didn't embezzle anything," Jessica protested. I played another recording, her own voice discussing how to hide the skimmed money from their business accounts. One by one, they broke down. Chad admitted he'd known Jessica was married but didn't care. Jessica confessed to the affair and the financial irregularities. Mara, cornered and exposed, finally revealed the full extent of her manipulation. "I wanted to destroy you," she spat at me. "You humiliated me, firing me in front of everyone. I wanted you to feel what it was like to lose everything." "Well," I said, pocketing my phone, "mission accomplished, except you forgot one thing." "What's that?" "I'm not the same man you worked for 3 years ago. You upgraded me into someone you really don't want as an enemy." The police arrived 20 minutes later. I'd called them before the others showed up. The recordings I'd made would be evidence in the embezzlement case. The public humiliation at the gala had already cost Jessica most of her clients. Chad's reputation was destroyed, his sponsorship deals canceled. As for Mara, she faced not just criminal charges but civil suits from every client she'd defrauded. I walked out of that venue a free man. The crowd that had gathered to watch the drama parted as I passed, some looking at me with fear, others with grudging respect. Jessica called after me one last time. "Danny, wait!" What about us? What about our marriage? I turned back, taking in the sight of my wife, ex-wife now, disheveled and desperate, flanked by her co-conspirators in their mutual destruction. You wanted an upgrade, Jess. Congratulations. You got one. Unfortunately, it came with a virus that corrupted your entire system. I walked to my truck, climbed in, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see the three of them standing in the ruins of their schemes, finally understanding the true cost of their betrayal. They'd wanted to upgrade their lives by downgrading mine. Instead, they'd learned that some systems, when pushed too far, don't just crash, they take everything else down with them. The divorce papers would be filed tomorrow. The shop was mine, the house was mine, and my reputation, somehow, had survived intact. In a weird way, their betrayal had freed me from a marriage that had been dying for years. I lit a cigarette and smiled. They'd tried to delete me from Jessica's life, but instead, they'd just given me a complete system restore. Sometimes the best upgrade is learning you didn't need one in the first place.